Elon Musk is one of the most controversial figures in the public's eye right now. Some see him as the Howard Hughes of our time. Depending on your point of view, he's either a brilliant innovator pushing society forward, or another ego-driven billionaire who believes the rules just don't apply to him. Maybe it's much more complex than that and contains a little bit of both. Musk has always been an entrepreneur, starting at the age of 12 with the sale of a game called Blastar in 1984. Now, nearly 4 decades later, Musk is deeply involved in game-changing companies including SpaceX, which includes Starlink, Tesla, which includes Tesla Solar, The Boring Company, and Neuralink. But his relentless pursuit to change the world doesn't end there. Elon seems to jump into almost any situation that hits the news, whether it's rescuing children stranded in a cave, offering to solve the world's energy problems, or save humanity from the dangerous AI. Anyone following him can barely keep up with the changing topics. But one thing is clear, he just can't help helping others. In 2018, Musk committed to helping via Twitter for the crisis, saying, quote, "Please consider this a commitment that I will fund fixing the water in any house in Flint that has water contamination above FDA levels." No kidding. He meant EPA, but the Musk Foundation did send nearly $484,000 to install new ultraviolet water filtration systems and water stations to all 12 schools in the area, which would give nearly 30,000 children access to safe drinking water. But even by August of 2019, the Flint Board of Education hadn't approved the proposal. And they did have to pay an extra $19,585 to Arch Environmental Group to perform water testing and flushing. No systems have been installed at that point. By October of 2019, there were 4 hydration stations ready for testing. The foundation also donated $442,000 for laptops for middle schoolers in the area while the schools waited for the filtration systems to be installed and become active. To this day, there hasn't been an update on the filtration systems, and his involvement is ongoing with the issue. The city is still without clean water.
Flint, Michigan's water issue wasn't the only issue involving water that Elon attempted to create a solution for.
The cave rescue mission that happened just a few years back when 12 boys and their football coach got stuck in a Thailand cave complex in 2018. Elon decided to involve himself in the rescue mission by designing, constructing, and donating a mini submarine. However, the mini sub was never sent or used, as an international team ended up doing the saving. After visiting the cave, Musk intended to prove that the sub would have been helpful, so he posted a video to Twitter. He also wrote a comment on Twitter directed to Vern Unsworth, the man who claimed that Elon's rescue effort was a, quote, PR stunt, by saying, "Sorry, pedo guy, you really did ask for it." And continuing on saying, quote, "Bet you a signed dollar, it's true." However, later that day, Elon decided to delete those pedophile-related tweets. In an interview, Unsworth said that the mini-sub, quote, just had absolutely no chance of working. He had no concept of what the cave passage was like. The submarine, I believe, was about 5 foot 6 inches long, rigid, and it wouldn't have gone around the round corners or around any obstacles. Unsworth also said Elon could, quote, stick his submarine where it hurts.
Though Twitter seems to cause some problems for Elon and his PR team, it does provide him with an insight into other issues that need fixing, like the shortage of ventilators in America, which caused a lot of problems for hospitals in the US. And after being asked on Twitter to help with the ventilator shortage due to the pandemic, Musk promised, quote, "We will make ventilators if there is a shortage."
He then distributed 1,000 ventilators within 5 days of the initial social media request, according to California Governor Gavin Newsom. However, they were bi-level non-invasive ventilators, or BiPAP machines, which are mostly used for sleep apnea. And they aren't helpful to patients who need invasive ventilators to cope with sicknesses that severely and negatively impact respiratory systems, like that of the coronavirus. And some doctors warned that machines might cause an accelerated spread of that virus. Then, while Musk claimed that Tesla and SpaceX engineers had begun working on the invasive ventilator parts necessary to help the extreme respiratory issues, the California governor claimed that no California hospitals had even received ventilators. Musk disputed this with a Twitter post of the, quote, partial list of hospitals that received devices, but that partial list only accounted for 197 ventilators.
While the ventilator endeavor may not have been the most helpful of his causes, Elon's efforts to slow pollution caused by gridlocked freeways are underway, literally.
The Boring Company was created by Musk to dig connecting tunnels and Hyperloop systems 30 feet below Los Angeles, lined with earth blocks instead of concrete, in an effort to free up the freeways. The company's goal is to, quote, reduce environmental impact and tunneling costs. The 1.14-mile-long R&D tunnel and 0.8-mile Hyperloop test track in Hawthorne, California are complete and used for testing public transportation systems, Loop and Hyperloop. The LVCC Loop system is designed for 4,400 passengers per hour with 3 large stations and is complete, while the Vegas Loop is targeting 51,000 passengers per hour with 43 medium-sized stations. The company doesn't list the total cost for each project on its website. Elon also announced that he's looking into creating a tunnel between South Padre Island, which you can vaguely see behind me, and Boca Chica for SpaceX workers here at Starbase. But the tunnel would be under a 42-foot deep, 1,200-foot wide shipping channel. The channel is one of the Gulf of Mexico's deepest ports, so it's unclear how feasible this project is or how helpful it'll be to local residents outside of the SpaceX operations. Overall, it does seem like a helpful idea for gridlocked freeways, but since the company is in its beginning stages, it's just too early to see how helpful this transportation solution will be.
While the Boring Company is in its beginning stages, Elon's other company, Tesla, founded in 2003, has almost single-handedly revolutionized personal transportation and its environmental impact. But it achieved this with some financial sleight of hand.
His electric car company, Tesla, is helping, though there has been challenges financially. The company's revenue totaled $10.4 billion, though the net income was $438 million on a GAAP basis in the first quarter of 2021. But most of the income was from emission credits, which are awarded to Tesla by the government for a lack of a carbon footprint and sold to other companies for 100% profit that may want to have a larger carbon footprint. And it also stems from the $101 million worth of Bitcoin the company sold. Model 3 and Model Y accounted for 182,780 of its deliveries, while production was near zero for Model S and Model X in the first quarter. Seems as though this is helping the climate crisis, but is it a sustainable business plan? Only time will tell. The National Highway Traffic Safety Administration is investigating the safety of the software used for Tesla's autonomous driving, and the Federal Trade Commission may investigate whether the company's marketing of the autonomous drive software is deceptive.
Environmental issues are at the top of Elon's to-do list, as a lot of power sources cause pollution. While trying to push the automotive industry towards more environmentally friendly options, Elon acquired another company to help wean the nation off of the oil and gas industry.
Tesla acquired SolarCity, a rooftop solar installer company which was founded by 2 of Elon's cousins in 2016 for $2.6 billion. There's currently a trial happening due to a lawsuit brought on by a group of shareholders, and it may cost Elon billions if he doesn't win the trial. But the company is now named Tesla Solar and hopes to equip residents with solar panels and giant batteries to power their homes for clean power and to prevent blackouts. The setup can, quote, keep a home running for about a day or two during a blackout, end quote, though they do cost, quote, tens of thousands of dollars. Musk hopes to create a 100-mile by 100-mile solar farm in a desert corner of the U.S. to power the entire U.S., though some say his idea isn't feasible on its own, and it's a gestural idea. Up to this point, he's donated panels to areas in need with mixed results. Elon claims the company powered small islands by installing a solar grid to power the entire island and store enough electricity for 3 days without any sun. And while Elon donated many solar panels to Puerto Rico, due to lack of proper care, most of the donated solar panels fell to disrepair. Tesla Solar has faced heavy challenges of being over budget with its solar roof project, where his company made, quote, significant mistakes as, quote, the complexity of the roofs vary drastically. And if an existing roof has underlying structure issues or is not strong enough to hold the tiles, then the cost may be 2 to 3 times higher than the initial estimates. So, Tesla Solar has decided to refund customers' deposits if they don't want to pay the price increase, according to Musk. Now he is, quote, donating $100 million towards a prize for best carbon capture technology, according to Twitter. Carbon capture tech aims to capture heat-trapping carbon dioxide before it negatively impacts the climate in Earth's atmosphere. Though this may be a, quote, long-term solution to sustainable energy future, how will Musk overcome the challenges to create that future, and at what cost?
With one problem comes another, which seems to be the case with Elon's involvement. This time, the goal is correcting slow internet and a lack of internet in rural areas.
Starlink, which was founded by Musk, will serve high-speed broadband internet to as many people as possible. However, the satellites may cause another problem while fixing the issue of slow internet. As space travel becomes more common, we may have to consider satellites in the projected launch paths. In March, a Chinese military satellite broke apart, and on August 14th, astrophysicist and satellite tracker Jonathan McDonald tweeted an object collided with a satellite, and that he hadn't seen such a comment for any other satellite before. SpaceX's Starlink satellites are involved in roughly 1,600 close encounters, which, quote, account for half of all encounters, according to Hugh Lewis, head of Astronautics Research Group at the University of Southampton, UK. And once all 12,000 SpaceX satellites are launched, Starlink satellites will be involved in 90% of all close approaches, based on satellite orbital conjunction reports assessing threatening encounters in space, or Socrates database. SpaceX has applied to place upwards of 30,000 satellites in orbit. Though this venture solves one issue, it also has the potential to cause a bigger issue for one of Elon's other missions: space travel. SpaceX just landed the HLS contract exclusively with NASA and added Blue Origin's Moonlander project lead engineer Nitin Arora to their team, per Arora's announcement on LinkedIn. The 2 astronaut spacesuits, known as Exploration Extravehicular Mobility Units, have been worked on for years, but won't be ready until, quote, April 2025 at the earliest, due to program delays, the impact of COVID, and being over budget, according to a NASA Inspector General report. But Elon seems to think his company may be the solution, tweeting, quote, SpaceX could do it if need be. He also noted that there, quote, may be too many cooks in the kitchen, after being informed via the social media platform that 27 companies are supplying components for the suits. NASA expects to release a formal request for spacesuit and spacewalk support services proposals later this year, which would be an open to commercial partnerships, quote, to optimize spacesuit technology and inspire pioneering in the space market. So Musk's offer might be a possibility.
And the possibilities really do seem endless with Elon, including a future with robots.
He announced on AI Day that he wanted to show that Tesla is more than just an electric car company, so the company will be creating a humanoid robot. He claimed the prototype will be active next year, and the robot will resemble Tesla's vehicles by using the same computer chip and navigate with 8 cameras. The bot will be 5 foot 8 inches high, weighing 125 pounds, and able to carry 45 pounds while moving nearly 5 miles per hour.
Though we don't have any household robot prototypes yet, we do have the beginnings of a company that some fear might turn our future into that of the Terminator movies.
Neuralink, owned by Musk, hopes to cure neurological diseases like Alzheimer's and Parkinson's by, quote, developing ultra-high bandwidth brain-machine interfaces to connect humans with computers. The product requires 1,024 electrodes resembling microscopic threads to be surgically implanted on the surface of a brain using a surgical robot which was created specifically for the procedure. The electrodes and a small receiver would detect when neurons are firing inside the skull, and outside of the skull there would be a larger wearable piece named, quote, Link, which holds the Neuralink software. Link would require software updates, which is why it needs to be located outside of the skull. But some have voiced concerns about potential ransomware risks, software bugs, and hardware defects that could be a major threat to one's health. Currently, the company is testing the surgically implantable microchip to complete tasks with no physical movement. In April, Neuralink tweeted a picture of a monkey in front of a screen, and Musk replied saying, quote, a monkey is literally playing a video game telepathically using a brain chip. This year, in response to a request to join human trials, he claimed that, quote, Neuralink is working super hard to ensure implant safety and is in close communication with the FDA. And, quote, if things go well, we might be able to do initial human trials later this year. This is interesting because Musk has claimed that the biggest threat to humanity was AI. So is he creating the future he's afraid of, or is he protecting us against it? With his hand in so many pots and the stove on full blast, what will Elon's ultimate impact be? Only time will tell just how helpful Elon's help really is.